Oh. Test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3. Okay. All right. Well, it wasn't registering the microphone or the speakers actually. I don't know if I'm getting any audio there. One moment. I think I got something. Hey, thank you to Hustle Brothers and Goat Gains and Archer Daily and Lewis Archer and Archer and Archer Defense and every other Archer out there. Blah. Okay, I am hearing something. It's not very loud. So, Microsoft is rendering at native 4K. So
10 Lima Alpha Oscar 5514. ATC services terminated. Good day.
Good day to you too. Well, good. It's still holding the autopilot. I'll explain everything here in a minute. I want to just run through it and see how it's doing. I think I have everything pretty much FPS-wise optimized at this point, the best I can. We're doing 60 frames. I don't want it to drop out of autopilot. I'm gonna hold it right there. I love the speed controls with LH assist off, and I'll explain that. I'll explain everything. Let me just try to get through this, do a couple of things here, check some things, then we can go back through it all again. Right now, I'm really looking for any major graphic problems like tearing, like when I move my camera around. See with the mouse, I'm getting a little bit of stuttering there, a little rubber banding. So a little bit more optimizing to do. Let's see if when I use my hat. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is run it in 4K natively and then output natively in 4K to OBS. And it's doing it. It's not exactly great yet, but I'm sure there's more we can do. I can assure you the ground here doesn't actually look like that in the terrain. It's a quirky terrain problem right there. So this is definitely different from a normal instrument flight. It's building a flight plan based on the street level, and I'll go back through all that too on how to set that up in the electronic flight bag or from the main screen. It's not hard, especially if you do it from the main screen. You just jump in and do it. It's the best way to do it. You can do it in the EFB, but it's a little bit more wonky. So this is the custom flight plan that I created, where it doesn't just take off. Pretty much it was a direct flight. When I set up the flight to this helipad over here, It was pretty much take off, head straight to the landing point, and then turn in and come in for a landing on the helipad. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably the way it will be routed in the real world. Kind of just get you there as fast as possible. But there's also the possibility that you might want to show some people around first, and maybe not just haul at 117 knots over to the landing point. You can do it however you want, really. But I'm imagining being more of a really cool pilot and wanting to show off the Archer Midnight and just how badass it is. Pardon the language. But it is. It is. It is. Words like that have to come out. It's freaking amazing, man. The dream come true. Thank you, Archer, Joby, eVTOL, anybody who's working in this sort of technology now. And it's going to get better. Flying this Archer Midnight in the simulator is already a dream come true. But what's coming with the NVIDIA deal and whether we'll get that in the simulator, I think they'll give us a taste. They might give us a taste of what Thor is like. That'd be worth the purchase of 24. If they can do it without us upgrading to the 2030 version, it'll probably be the 2030 version. You know, hey, they got to make their money. The developers got to eat, right? So I'm not going to feel bad about it either way. If they give it to us before they want to release the next version, that'd be cool. But if they don't, again, I'm not going to be sore about it. Because Thor, and even some of the next-gen Garmin stuff, and maybe Microsoft and Google themselves will create avionics, AIs. So you'll have a choice. The primo one, probably, robot brain, is going to be the NVIDIA. But again, I can imagine having a Bing or... cool, it's doing it. Hasn't broke the autopilot. And we're doing 60 knots. And what I wanted to show people down there, because I'm a cool pilot, I wanted to show them... I gotta go back out. Let me pause. Can't do this in the real world. The superhero power I need, though. I don't even remember how. Usually don't. Let's just do this. I wanted to show people at that turn. Whoa. Oh, my controls are tied to... Well, I'll have to do that on the next run, then. That hotel over there, the Antlers, the golf courses that we're traveling over. I forgot, when I'm in this mode, let's see if it broke the autopilot. Kinda. Turn it off and turn it on again. When I'm in that view, I've got some of my controls bound to that view, so when I'm looking around, it's actually controlling the aircraft, and I've got to unbind those. If I can slow down and still remain in autopilot. Low can I go? At some point, if it tilts and starts to go into the hover mode, there it goes. It just turned off the autopilot. You have to be going, can't be in a hover. I'm hoping all I gotta do is just restart the simulator and hopefully get rid of that bug. But again, I'm doing so much here. It really is pushing it. It says I've missed 25 frames due to render lag in this process. I'm trying to get the best view, and I'd like to keep everything in 4K. But if I have to come down, I will. But if I can do a little bit more tweaking of the graphic settings and maybe turn on frame gen, maybe we can avoid stop that from happening. Do. Frame rate. If we could try to cap it. All right, let's try that. That's a little bit better. Not much. So, more tweaking to do. Right where we at. Come on. Not capping the frame rate. It says we're doing 108 frames. We're still getting a little bit of lagging. Turn this down to balance. Still not capping it. And it kind of broke the LH assist. It's now not speeding back up. Could be moving forward. It's not. Oh, it says we're doing 30 knots. There we go. Come on, we'll speed up. I need better than 30 knots. Oil. Just transition that again. 6. $60. Autopilot comes on at 60. All right, let's try to cap it right there. 68 to 70. Come on. Down. Come on. Down. $77. $6. Go below 76. That's, I suppose, is fine. It's keeping the autopilot on. Let me turn it off again and see. $72. Don't want to go below 60. So 62 so far so good on not breaking autopilot. That's great. Now let me just restart the simulator. Begging your pardon. Don't want to waste your time, but it's got to be done. So many changes. Oh, again, thank you to I mentioned Hustle Brothers and Goat Gains and Archer Daily and Lewis Archer and Archer Defense. And then there's Archer. I'm doing like the YMCA A. The big Archer with... I'm doing an A. Being the Archer headquarters. Archer. I've got to figure out how to multi-stream. It says this new version of OBS is multi-stream capable, and I don't know if you need restream to do that or not. So I've been away for a while and taken a very, very long hiatus, actually, from Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I was playing other things, playing Doom, the latest Doom. Loved it. I think you'll love it, too, if you are into that kind of thing. Got pretty much stopped dead in the Dark Alone or the Alone Dark, whatever that survival game is I was playing. I got to get back to that. I was pretty much stalemated. Everywhere I went was getting attacked by wolves or dying of cold, or so I was pretty much in a spot where I couldn't survive. It had beaten me. Game over. So I don't want to give up entirely just yet, and I'll get back to that one and see if I can unstalemate myself and figure out a way to get around the situation that I'm in. If not, kind of just go back and restart from the, I don't know, as far back as we can go. We have to start over. Okay, fine. But that's a lot of moving around. As far as survival games go, it's pretty darn cool. All right, so I was talking about setting up a flight plan. Okay, so I want to go downtown, okay, because this is urban air mobility, right? I'm not going cross country. I just got to get somebody from this airport downtown. And this is the only really heliport. I mean, there's one over there. That's the hospital, I think. Yeah, Penrose. St. Francis Hospital. Yeah, UC Health. So, the people that I mentioned. Huss Brothers, Archer. Those guys. All those people. They're, other than Archer Main, they are all investing in Archer and Joby and eVTOL and urban air mobility and advanced air mobility and vertical integration. I bring that up because, again, we've only got 2 heliports. And I've been saying in the comments, reacting to some of the videos that they're putting out, is that, man, as air taxi service, it's not going to work at the moment. Because no matter where you're at, you know, that's a lot of distance between each of these heliports, right? Again, it doesn't do me any good if I can't land at a Home Depot for somebody, or take them to a park, or any other places. So we're going to need a lot more places in the future where these air taxis can land, and retrofitting buildings and putting signage on the rooftops, which would be actually pretty cool, because when you fly around a lot and you're trying to find places just by visually, it's a real pain in the ass, because I can't find, looking down, Home Depot, McDonald's, whatever, Walmart, just by looking at the rooftop and being able to, oh, there's McDonald's, there's a Burger King, there's a Walmart, there's a, blah, blah, blah. And so we're going to need a lot more infrastructure. And that would be a pretty cool business, to be completely honest. One, just advertising and getting the rooftops painted so people can find your stuff just by looking. And two, a business that says, hey, we'll retrofit your building. And we'll put a heliport landing, or an eVTOL landing on your roof. This is the Citadel Mall, I believe. This would be a perfect place. Arrive in style at the newly revamped Citadel Mall. Like a pimp, right? So, adding some color and some cool graphics and logos. Also make it pop out. So, yeah, you know, there's a lot of money to be made if anybody actually wants to do it. But I don't see why not. If I had the money and I ran a business, I would be cool. I would be the coolest building for eVTOL. I'd have areas all over the place. I've been thinking about how to do them in parking lots, you know, and how do you keep the general public out of, and can you put in mini verticals, right? Just that are like 6 feet or 8 feet up. Some way there's no way you can interfere with the general public. Okay. Enough of that. So let's go to this heliport here at St. Francis. Okay, so you see what it does here. One, it's setting it up as automatically will set it up as a visual flight rules flight. Okay. And it's going to just do the quickest, most efficient way there. I can already see we're going to have to keep messing with graphic settings. We're still not doing so great, even out here. Okay. So, again, I want to let people have a really good time. And another way that they might allow us to flight plan, or they will, you know, I mean, every road is, if there's way more, imagine there's a helipad within 1 mile of each other. On every major business, there's a helipad, and you have to be able to flight plan based on streets, right? The computer's going to set you up with a quick little way, but another way to do it would be to create your own flight plan. And the reason why it's easy to do out here is because you just have to click and do add, right? And it'll add a point. So then we can go to that road and we'll follow this road. Get one in the middle there. Eventually we'll need some more high fidelity. Maybe if I zoom in, see if I can zoom in and try to put it on the road. And they don't have an ability to grab your flight plan and just, you know, grab and move your pins yet. I would love for them to do that. It'd make it so much easier, like SkyVector. Just grab your pin and move it where you want it. This isn't good enough. No, see, and it does things like that too. Another way you can quickly remove. I wanted to come to Academy Boulevard, so we'll put one here. Then I wanted to turn south and show people, you know, one of our coolest hotels. We don't have a whole lot of hotels here. We don't have a really tall building infrastructure at all, really. And so these tend to stick out. This is the Antlers Hotel. Oh, I'm sorry, the Satellite Hotel. Antlers is downtown. Okay, we need to retrofit this for sure. It's called the Satellite Hotel. We better have a a landing pad either on one of these rooftops, or look at this nice little park area back here. All right, so I'm gonna get clearance from them, be able to fly onto their property. Then we'll fly over the golf courses here. And then come back up to the road. We don't want to fly over these residences. Okay. All right, now we want to head down towards the park, Memorial Park, in the Olympic Training Center. Show off some of that for our guests here. Let's take them across the, remove this. Let's take them across the lake. All right, then we'll come back over to Memorial. Hopefully it won't create a weird... Well... All right, and then here's the Olympic Cycling Training Center facility. Got some nice monuments down here, and this is Memorial Park proper, where I played all my football growing up, mostly. Big tournaments anyway. All right, now we need to find... This is a pretty high traffic road right here. I don't think they'd mind. All right, and then there is our final before the helicopter pad. So come up here and then come out to here. All right. So that is another way that we might be planning. And with, I'm hoping with touch and click screens here shortly, that in the cockpit they're going to add this kind of functionality in, where you can just click and drag on streets and make it fast and efficient. Okay, if not, right now you can go into the EFB. One, I'm going to make sure that this is set to IFR. It shouldn't change our plan. Registration airline, we're private. Don't have to enter registration. We have a transponder, and we can squawk our altitude too if we want. So this is just if air traffic control asks you to squawk, it'll ask for you'll input your transponder, and this one handles altitude too. So cool. The route. So the route that we created out there shows up in here. These are all the waypoints that I've added, all the way down to final, and then the helipad. Okay. And it gives us more information about how long it should take us to get there, flying it, blah, blah, blah. And the altitude, approximate altitude that we could be at. So when we take off, we're going to be about 6'2". There it is. 6,234 feet. It recommends we climb to 7,100. Might be a little too high for a good view on things. Two, 3, 4, 5. Like 6'5", 6'8". We'll try those. Okay. And then it recommends these altitudes, 7,005. And then when we come into the final, it wants us at 10,000 feet for the final. And it says the helipad is at 10,000 feet. Okay. I wonder why it's not showing us the flight plan down here. Because then you can modify the route in here. That's not even the right place in the earth. What happened there? There we go. All right, so I said you can do it in here too. So, okay, so here's the flight plan, and when we started, it was just a couple of segments over to here, like 3 points. And then I added these points, and you would do it the same way, right? So let me remove this point, remove from flight plan, and then let's add it back in. But this is where it gets a little weird, and why I kind of don't prefer doing it this way. So I haven't quite figured it out yet. Add it as a waypoint. But as a waypoint after or before. So let's do after this traffic pattern F. But see, it does like weird things. Let's remove that. Okay. Add the flight plan as a waypoint after the helipad. Well, maybe that's the very end. Roll back up. After custom? No. Well, kinda. I mean, it takes us up here and then takes us back, and then we do a teardrop and turn back around. Which, no, we don't want to do that. So maybe before that point. Okay, that worked. Okay. So that's how you can add waypoints in that way. Now let's see if there's anything else in the settings. Well, let's get in there and see what it looks like. 48 frames missed to render lag. Stream current bitrate is higher than recommended. 500? Really? Well, that may... We don't have to give it all that much bandwidth. So I'm going to stop the stream and restart the stream, and hopefully able to do it in under 10, 15 seconds, so it'll just be a hiccup and it doesn't kill the stream entirely. And I should be back. Thank you, my dudes. Well, the Arch people. Yeah, so from the moment I jumped in and experienced the Archer Midnight, this is a dream come true. This is what I've been waiting for after all the years of flying in the simulator. I have loved learning to fly. I love flying. But I'm always asking, well, what's new? How can you make it safer? How can you make it better? Why haven't we had any real major jumps in the last 50 years? And I keep asking, well, when are we going to start seeing the next gen stuff? And this is it. It's finally here. So this is kind of the answer to everything that I've been dreaming about. And some people are now telling me when I tell them, hey, the Archer Midnight is my new favorite aircraft. That and the Joby. And the Jetson. They're my new favorite aircraft. I'll say, well, that's not flying. Come on. Are you kidding me? Every time you run into older pilots, no matter what you do, that's not flying. If I don't want to fly tail draggers because they're inherently unsafe, like, well, you're not a good enough pilot. Well, learning that stuff without dying and being able to learn how to fly tail draggers and not die trying to learn because it's that dangerous. so that you can eventually become better and learn how to do bush piloting and land a tail dragger in a really dangerous area of space and then hopefully be able to take off again. But if you can't do that, then you're just not a good enough pilot. Well, you're right. But again, living long enough to be a good pilot to do that, and then for some of us that it takes a while to learn. The chances of us dying, the chances of somebody like me dying, are probably 80%, man. Right? So now we have eVTOL, and I can come up to any height I want, or down to any height, whatever, and I don't even have to mess with the controls. I just let go. Right? I am moving forward a little bit. What am I moving? 6 knots. Hold. I don't want to go backwards. All right. But I'm not touching the joystick. Now, in a helicopter, you can't do this. You'd be dead. I've enjoyed learning how to fly helicopters, but I don't like them. Because, again, one mistake and you're dead. So learning to be a freaking great helicopter pilot, sure, it's an achievement. That's great. That's great you can fly helicopters. That's great that you're an awesome bush pilot. Yeah, you're a hell of a pilot. All right, so I tend to choose the more safe designs. That's when they switched it around and they went to the tricycle design, where the 2 wheels are in the back and you got the nose wheel. Right? Much, much safer than a tail dragger. Much. But even then, my goodness. You couldn't get this kind of control outside of an F-35. So to be able to hover at any altitude that I want, and then to dial in my speed, that's something that, again, I've been asking for 50 years. Not that long, hyperbole. But over the last 50 years, they haven't developed a way to dial in your speeds. There's no precision in some flying, right? So for me to be able to just use the throttle and just raise the throttle, and this is going to be handling it automatically. So meaning when I slide the throttle forward, it's controlling how far or how fast. Let's see here. So it's handling the speed changes, and I'm at max throttle right at the moment. Okay, so now let me pull back a little bit and see if I can get a reading on how fast I'm doing. Not yet. 30 knots. Okay. I've got the throttle in about neutral, medium, halfway position. So that's 30 knots. So if I push it forward again, let's see if I can pick up a little bit more speed. Maybe not below 30. 30. Well, let me slow down a little bit then. If you pull it back and then push it into neutral in the midway position, you can kind of catch it where you want it. And it'll hold where you want it. So I'm at 26 now. Pull back on the throttle again just for a few seconds. Put it back into neutral. 22. But if I want to dial it in, then I go back to LH Assist and I turn it back on. So now I can just flick the throttle forward and backwards really quickly for however how many times I want to slow down. There's 27. So I'll slide it to neutral, drop it back down. Okay, 25. And by neutral again, about halfway. Imagine your throttle is its full reach. I'm currently in an idle position. And then if I say halfway, I'm going about halfway of the throttle. Okay, there's 23, sliding it to idle. Back to half, 22. Back to idle, 21. 19. 18. So you see, by just toggling it back and forth each time, you can dial it in. 17 knots. 16 knots. 14 knots. 13. 12. 11. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 2. 1. 1 knot. Same with going forward. Now I'll go all the way full forward. Neutral. 5. 10. 12. 13. 14. 16. I think it depends on how long you hold it in the neutral. 17. I do it really fast. 18. Yeah, that's like really fast. 19. If I kind of hold it neutral for a minute and then push it forward again, a little bit more of an increase. So that's the two ways to control your speed. Either if you don't want to just flick it around like that and mess with it, and want to learn how to just kind of do it by feel, turn it back off, start going forward again. There's 30 knots. Okay. When you want to make a transition to full flight, so simple, senor. You just put your mouse on this button, the thumbstick, and there's basically, you can push it once to make the transition to full flight at about 96 knots. If you slide this thing again forward, it will accelerate to 117 knots. And you might be able to, then using LH Assist off or on, try to get it to go maybe up to 120. But I haven't really got it higher than 120, 124. Which is fine. We're just an air taxi. But ultimately, you can still do cross country. So, and again, this is a simulator. Who's to say that they won't say, okay, in cross country mode, you can do 140 knot cruise or more. Okay, so let me push this forward once. So keep an eye on here. We're at 29 knots. Click it forward once. Uh-oh. I wasn't high enough. Uh-oh. We've crashed. Ah. I better put on some lights. Bright. Too bright. My eyes. Okay. Now we can kind of see things. Where were we? Transitioning. 27 knots. Pushing this thing forward one time. Get the little finger. Push. Okay, now we're going to transition. Full flight, 96 knots. Our cells are pivoting down. Sorta. Kinda. We click the button forward again and see if we can go full 96. There we go. Yeah. Alright, so 97 knots. Now, click it one more time and we go full speed. So, 117. I'm not touching the throttle, it's handling the throttle. Safe and simple. Okay. 117 knots. Let me try to get it going a little bit faster. If we can get out of it. Yeah, not much. Go to assist on. 118. 18. No, I can't get it to go much faster than that. Alright, detransitioning. Easy as pie. Come back down here and now push backwards on it. This should take us back to the 96. It could just take us to a straight hover. One click. Not touching anything, joystick or the throttle. 96 again. Okay. See how few controls there are to this thing? Alright, we're still in aircraft mode, so you have to fly it like an airplane. Fly a little bit of up nose if you're going to make a turn. So we'll head back over towards the airport, and then we'll put it into Autopilot, and we'll have it fly our route. Yes. Speed up, 117. Oh, I didn't go all the way. I didn't show you the full stop. So click twice. Down, down. We'll go to hover mode. So you've got to pre-plan and think about everything in flying anyways, thinking ahead. So if you're going to come in for a hover over a place and you're coming in hot as hell at 117 knots, you need to anticipate how long it's going to take for it to transition so you don't overshoot your mark. Something to think about. All right, let's go back to full flight. 2 clicks. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, not that long. Not touching the joystick. Now I am. Okay. I want to head back over to the airport. Now, unscheduled flying like this, now we're in the real world. We haven't. This isn't the real world at the moment. To be free flying and stuff, I don't know how that's going to work yet. But we'll get back over to the airport. Let me show you the flight plan. To do a direct to, come down here to your MFD and go to your flight plan, and we can do it direct to the airport. It's easy. I love this new stuff. KCOS. It's that simple. I love it, brothers, sisters. All right, and then activate direct to KCOS. Run the autopilot. Turn on nav. Set my altitude. We're 8.4. We're going to come down to 6.2. Let's at least come down to 7. Do a flight level change. Cool, it's doing it. So it's handling. I've got my hand off the joystick. It's handling the flight level change back to 7,000 feet while continuing to fly the direct to route. No VTOL. Well, we're not trying to do a hover. So I'm getting a no VTOL warning, but that's fine. I don't want it to be in a hover. So somehow there's a little conflict right there. Or whatever I did, maybe when it was slowing down. But you see now we are direct to KCOS. No, it's not doing it. It has broke. It's not on the flight plan. Activate direct to. Try it again. Burn, baby. I've broken the autopilot. Okay, it's a simulator. Turn off the autopilot, turn it back on. VTOL. Okay. Turn it off. Speeding up. 120. Nav. Autopilot. Unless we've been toggled off of. Yeah, we were toggled off GPS. We've been on a localizer. We don't need the localizer. We need FMS. Bubba. Come on, autopilot. Oh, interesting. Oh well, it finally kicked it in. So it's not broken, and there's a way to work around. Just try to re-engage the direct to. All right, we're pretty much back to where we started. So now, low energy. Okay. We'll turn off the autopilot. Turn off nav. And put it into hover. There's the terminal over there.
Springs Tower.
We're out of. Oh, I ran out of battery.
514 is 2 miles southeast, 6,700.
Whoops.
With India to land.
All right. Well, I wasn't paying attention to our energy, and I need to remember to turn.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 5514, Colorado Springs Tower. Altimeter tree 018,
right? I would if I could, but I've run out of battery. The nice thing about this is when you plug back in the charger, you can set the recharge rate up to 32 times. That's quite the battery. All right, back over to the runway. Okay, back to the flight plan. I think it blew the flight plan out. See if we can put it back in with our EFB. No. Didn't put it back in. Send to avionics. Send to air traffic control and avionics. Okay, so there, now put it back. Alright, so there's the flight plan again. Put it into full flight mode. above 60 knots. Turn on autopilot, turn on nav. That's it, easy as pie. Can't really maneuver too much out here because, again, I haven't unbound certain flight controls to the external camera, and I need to get in there and do that. But I can use this view.
Colorado Springs approach. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 5514 is type Archer Midnight. 2 miles northeast of Colorado Springs, 6,700. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 5514, Colorado Springs approach. Squawk 7157.
Squawk 7157. Set to auto.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 5514. Did you hear my last transmission?
Oh, there it is.
Squawk 7157. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 5514.
Lima Alpha Oscar 5514. Radar contact. 3 miles northwest of Colorado Springs. 7,000. Cleared through the Charlie airspace. Maintain on navigation.
Cleared through the Charlie airspace. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 5514.
Alright, should be coming up on Academy Boulevard and making a turn back toward Satellite Hotel. Then across the golf courses, then back to the main road, then over to Memorial Park. It's a major thoroughfare when it came in the late 60s, early 70s. This thoroughfare here across Colorado Springs, Academy Boulevard. The bumper stickers when it first came out was "Pray for me, I drive Academy." People were driving, 50 miles an hour. That was fast back then. And here's the Satellite Hotel, which needs a eVTOL. Hard to see from this view. All right, the golf courses. Yeah, you don't really got a good view. I mean, you can kind of see it down here. Okay. To the main road, then to Memorial Park. There's Memorial Lake. The monument and the Olympic cycling area. Should do a UE. slow down. Not below 60. Knots. I believe I need some more coffee. Running pretty good. It's not too bad. We haven't been having a lot of rubber banding out here or clipping. Let's see the stats. View stats. 48 frames missed due to render lag. It broke the... No, Autopilot's still on. Did break it. Slowing down too slow. Oh well. The plan. Where is the... Okay, well, that was a problem. Alright, can we find it by nearest? Should be able to. Light plane. Nearest. Nearest. Airport? Helipads? Let's see. No, not the way I want. They don't have the helipads. Well, we skin the cat. Again, we would go over to our EFB, which I don't know, would give us something like that. But if I was a pilot who was worth my salt, I would have the location memorized. Penrose St. Francis Hospital. see. It blew out the landing zone altogether. 19 CO. Back on track. But not at this speed. We had a juice again? No. Boy, we did. I had it set to like 4 passengers, so it thinks we're really heavy too. I don't know if it kept that. Get over there before we crash. Oh no, I ran out of juice. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. I've killed us twice now. But that's what this is all about. It's keeping an eye on your power. They need to have like a bingo. And I'll bet there is. But with certain planes, they'll tell you, hey, you better pull over right now. It'll tell you how much fuel you have, or let you know that you're low, and you better consider putting it down right away. So I can definitely see them adding in a bingo. Huh. CO. So it blew out the landing. Now it doesn't want to take it. I don't know why it doesn't want to take it. That's weird. This will just be straight to it. No messing around. So, I hope you see and understand a little bit. I'm new when it comes to stock trading. Absolutely a noob. I'm just learning. And I'm poor. So I don't know a whole lot about stocks yet. But I do know they say get in on something early that you think is going to be a great thing. Well, folks, I think this is going to be a great thing. Aside from me not paying attention to my battery twice and killing us, you see how just darn simple this is to fly. Right? I'm just pulling back on the joystick. Throttle back into neutral. Turn off. LH assist. Okay. So I just pull back on the joystick to go up to the altitude I want, or push the nose, the joystick down. And then if I let go of the controller, it just hangs right there, right where I put it. And my hands are off the joystick. Right? You just can't do that. You can't do that in a conventional helicopter. And you sure as heck can't do this in a plane. So, every time you come in for a landing in anything up to now, other than one of these for the most part. Oh, and it's also got an assisted landing. So, if I slow down, right, and I just push the joystick all the way forward to come down to a landing, unlike a helicopter, it controls your descent and makes sure that you have a nice, soft landing every time. You can't do that in anything else. And then it just shuts the engines off for you, so you're nice and safe. As soon as I pull back, it kicks the engines on again. Right? If I twist the joystick left or right, it'll move me sideways. Like I'm in some fancy F-35, F-22. Using rudders, or in this case, my side twist on my joystick. I'm sorry, just to I'm turning right or left, so pushing the joystick to the right or to the left, not twisting. Right. Push to the right. Push to the left. Let go. Right? Okay, just that alone. Oh, man. That's the future. Every time you come in for a landing in anything other than one of these, you are rolling death dice. You got to make sure that your speed's good, that you're not going too fast, too slow, be in the proper flap configuration as needed. You might have crosswinds. You might have to go into something called a crab. All these things that can happen coming in for a landing, that if you don't do just right, you could die. I mean, that alone is worth me jumping up saying, hey, I've got to invest in this and I've got to invest in this now. And I've talked about setting up the flight plans for street level. Setting up street level flight plans. We're going to need micro navigation. All right, let's this thing into full forward again. Oops. Hello. Stay on target. Okay, I'm trying to transition now. Full flight. You don't have to turn on the autopilot, but autopilot. Put the nav back on. It had me on localizer and not GPS. Let the flight kick in the flight plan again. Need to. Hey, it handles autopilot once you're in full flight mode. Again, love it. Joby doesn't have an autopilot at the moment. I'm sure it will. And again, I mentioned Thor earlier. NVIDIA Thor, that is going to be coming to the real-world aircraft versions of this. And that is a conversational AI that can handle your flight planning, traffic, air traffic control, radios and navigation. It can handle everything. It's basically a robot co-pilot. NVIDIA Thor AI. So it being a conversational one, I could have probably just told it, hey, I need to get to Penrose St. Francis Hospital heliport. And it would have said, okay, Tony, Kineas, here's your flight plan. Go ahead and send that over to air traffic controller and I'll input it into the GPS for you. And then all I got to do is tell it. In that case, it can do fully automated, as I understand. So I really don't even need to do anything but tell it to go there. I'm just now at this point, I'm just here in case something goes wrong. So that's what NVIDIA Thor should be able to do. Everything. And probably a lot more, like, hey, Tune into some local radio, will ya? A rock station. Talk about anything. I mean, it's going to be one of the world's most powerful AI brains. All right, I should start coming out of... Well, actually, no. How do I handle this? I'm on autopilot, and it should... wonder if it'll slow down and take me all the way. Or it'll just overshoot everything. Let's see what it does here. Not following the nav. Oh, it's trying to, but it's not going to slow down and automate the landing. It's going to overshoot. So take it out of hover, or take it out of full flight into hover. Probably where you will want control. So 2 knots. It's not super high performance, but that's not what it's supposed to be. So you can't ascend and descend really fast. I suppose if you become an expert at this thing over time, you could probably do it pretty darn slick. I wonder, and again, this is just all first gen stuff. I can only imagine getting some that are like one, much faster, but two, faster with precision. So faster descents, faster, but everything just really, really tight and precise. Coming hot for a landing and just not a whole lot to check out. Trying to remember how to open the doors. Oop, nope. Oh, doors. They have these neat little displays up there. not a lot of room for cargo. I don't even see a cargo at all. Nope. I'll be starting up my live streams again real soon now that everything's kind of working again. Still might need a new joystick. Seemed pretty stable tonight for the most part, but this one's starting to get pretty old, and I'm really sentimental about it. So I've been thinking about even trying to find somebody that can do repairs and try to get this thing perfectly centered again. New springs and new stuff. But those new digital joysticks that they've come out with, pretty snazzy. Okay. Let's set up a new flight. Procedures. New flight plan. Departure. COS 6. I thought this was 19 CO. No, that is the airport. UC Health Memorial, perfect. Come on. Don't need any departure or transition sequences. Great. Arrival, let's see. I wonder if we have enough juice to get to Castle Rock. Well, let's do the Air Force Academy first. See if we need to. Oh. AFF? Yep. No. Oh, no, no. We blew that out. Huh. It won't load it. That's the problem. It sees it, but why it won't load the helicopter, I don't know. FBL002? Oh, let's try that. No matches found. Yeah, UC Health Memorial. Okay, there it is. But it keeps defaulting back to KCOS. Huh. Doesn't want to load this one either. That works. Yep. Okay. Time to go grab a coffee. Well, let me put it into autopilot first. Let's see. 50. Set to GPS, nav, autopilot. pretty good. Try to... Let's go to Kappa. And we'll start heading towards Denver. Take it out on I-25. I love it. I love it. I love it. So people are going to say, well, that's not flying. Well, again, if your goal is staying alive and not having to spend years and years and years and years of becoming an awesome pilot so you don't kill yourself, or being confident enough that you're not going to kill anybody else, how long does it take to develop those kind of balls of steel, you know? But in something like this, an eVTOL, right? My chances of surviving are now, other than me not watching the energy level, you know, pretty much 90%. There's still a lot to it in the real world. There's going to be a lot more to it. Flight planning is still following all proper procedures. But I hear that they're going to release these also as a sport plane variant, or classified as a sport plane because of the simplicity. We'll have to see. That means anybody with a driver's license can fly one of these. Take a little bit of training, you've got to have a driver's license. Sports planes, that's really all it requires, is a driver's license. It's going to allow older pilots to stay active a lot longer. When older pilots are being put out to pasture, you know, they want you at a, you know, for the big commercial stuff. They're going to want younger people, less prone to having heart attacks. And so they usually retire. I actually don't know. But I know that, you know, they want to retire older pilots because of health issues, yada, yada, yada. This is so simple now. Anybody that's a real-world pilot could jump into one of these and continue flying in until they do have a heart attack. And even then, these are going to have the potential to have the IGX Thor AI. So it doesn't matter if you have a heart attack. It'll get you there. And it'll get your passengers there or your cargo there safe. So to me, this is flying. This is a much better way to fly. They're going to have some of these that are going to have jets. Even the electric ones. eVTOL jets. That is going to be badass. To be able to transition to go 500 knots. Landing jets can be pretty darn scary. You're doing 500 knots or better, slowing down to 140 knots for landing. You might need speed brakes and all kinds of other stuff. Oh, this was a daily drive for so many years. Or a weekly drive or a monthly drive. Don't do it so much anymore, but man. Years and years and years of traveling back and forth on this stretch of I-25. Decades. This was always my favorite part. Because there wasn't a whole lot. You know, it was all open space. And the people that owned all this land have wanted it to remain open space as long as possible. They won't let people develop on it so that it remains nice. It's always nice traveling through here. These maps are old too. All this stuff is fully developed now. Everything throughout here. They're just built crazy. Don't like it. But can't stop rock and roll. Oh, good. Half tank, and we're almost at Castle Rock. Oh, good. Very good. Very good. Plum Creek over to the right. I used to live down there, pretty much right below us. There's Castle Rock directly to our right. They don't have the giant star on it. There's my old high school. 3 o'clock. So we can make it all the way from Colorado Springs to the south end of Denver. I think we're New York City. They started putting up tolls everywhere. Ugh. Is that not flying like a big pimp? Do we do we really need the action and adventure and the danger of botching a takeoff or a landing? Do we really need that? Do we really need to freak out if we've got a wicked crosswind and no visibility and we're not really good at ILS yet? Do we really need that kind of stress in our lives? I say nay. Nay. And that is why I'm reiterating. Thank you to Hustle Brothers. And thank you to, well, firstly, again, thank you to Archer, Adam Goldstein, and the big boys and girls at Archer. Thank you for making this technology available to us mere mortals. where we don't have to go buy an F-22 or F-35 to have eVTOL capability. Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to have a bomb autopilot. And beyond my wildest dreams, I didn't expect we would see the potential for AI to be in the cockpit this fast. Thank you for the assisted landing. Thank you for being able to dial in our speeds. With time, batteries become more powerful and yada, yada, yada. Pretty soon we'll have wireless energy charging as we're flying around. Start introducing some of the Tesla tech. And I don't mean Elon Musk Tesla. So thank you to you folks. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that's involved with Archer, their partners, Palantir, soon Anduril. I'm going to have to load up the Hawthorne Airport. I should do that now. See what Hawthorne looks like. They purchased Hawthorne. What is it? Yeah, near LA, in LA. I don't know. They're like, oh, we're going to take people from here to KLAX. Man, is it really that hard to get from there to there on the street? But they said it'll be making getting around to any one of these airports just much, much easier and getting people around. As opposed to Colorado, you see that they've got all kinds of landing spots. Anyway, let's check out Hawthorne. It's a little bit further away. There's Burbank. Go to Compton. There's Gardenia. There's Cypress. Long Beach. East LA. West Hollywood and Beverly Hills. Glendale. All right, we'll get a look at Hawthorne here. Now, a lot of these airports, they allow people to go in and make custom ones. And so I can't tell you exactly how accurate this one is going to be. You know. I'll have to see if they have Hawthorne available as custom content in the store. So yeah, Archer owns all of this now. And I guess Surf Mobility is also out of here. They're stationed here. That's a pretty big facility there. Again, I don't know how many of these hangars, but it goes a long way down. You know, and it may not look that great right now, but we're still dealing with first and second generation entire world simulation. That's the thing about Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's called the digital twin, the Earth digital twin, and that's what we're flying in. And it's pretty darn accurate as far as the placement and shape of every building, and some are better than others. And then you can get, like I said, custom airports, which make them, you know, handmade for an even better experience. So it will only get better over time. And this was a high-end machine at one time, but now it says it's not a high-end machine based on the latest NVIDIA drivers. They're considering this a low to medium machine when this was high-end. I'm still able to pump out streaming it, rendering it at 4K, and using OBS at 4K, so not bad. But, you know, it is nice sightseeing, and again, I could probably tweak the graphics and make things a little bit better for buildings and yada yada. But the goal in the simulator is to learn how to fly. And at least that is for me. It's nice sightseeing, I don't mind it. But until just now, it's all been about learning, and it's still about learning. But everything that I have done in all my live stream videos and videos in general, flight simming stuff, it's all been learning everything from steam gauge flying to glass cockpit, visual flight rules, instrument flight rules, mountain flying. And then I started the Skydude career live streams, where, okay, I know how to operate now. Air traffic control, yada, 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 yada. Now it's just learning how to fly different types of aircraft and continuing to do career stuff. I don't think you can use these in career mode yet, which is a real drag, because this is what I want to use for a career. especially when it's the flight sim. You're like, slow down and make sure you stay below like 80 knots so your people get a really good experience. 80 knots? You're still hauling balls at 80 knots. I'm at 14 knots now. This is the kind of experience I want to give people. Raytheon Space and Airborne Systems. So taking it up to 30 knots. That's the fastest you can fly in the simulator before you go into full flight mode. We're still in basically hover mode. Hover with forward flight. Or maybe that's not even right. Just Are you a cat owner? A cat lover? Maybe you can help answer a question for me. I'm sure there's a video for it out on YouTube, and I just need to go watch somebody's video on it. Why do cats, like, in the middle of the night, they just freak out if they can't go outside? Well, if you're a night owl, do you notice that your cats, after 2 o'clock in the morning, they just will, some nights, just run up on you and be totally insistent, in your face, meowing because they want to go out so badly. Other nights, it's not so much. But some nights, like, you gotta let me out right now, dude. Square Enix? I have a problem with those people, actually. I've had a problem with Square, Squaresoft, Square Enix, and EA, all the way back to, oh my gosh, year 2000. A 25-year grudge with EA and Square. They stole my identity in a matter of role-playing, gaming. So, Raytheon Space and Airborne Systems. I need a tissue. Tito. It's cold here and I'm getting all stuffed up. Well, that's nice. You can tell at least somebody went down there and they measured the driveways with trees. Try to make it look pretty. Large parking lot. I have all the vehicles and extra aircraft in the air all turned down. I'm trying to get the buildings a little bit at the ultra, probably. all of this area is Raytheon. There's Raytheon building R1. Nice golf course. All right, we're still doing pretty good. Let's try to turn things up even higher then. Could turn texture resolution up to high, but try to get up even more. Hotel inside or next to Raytheon? That's interesting. The Ritz-Carlton. Square Enix. You guys. Right next to Raytheon. How interesting. Satellite dishes. You see what I see? It'd be a shame not to go over there and land over there. Thank goodness this is a simulator. You can get away with things you'd never be able to do. Get away with. So for those of you out there that are like pilots and like, dude, you can't do that. No. This is just ultimately a test. Not trying to play it by the book. Still mucking about. And it's been a test for the new NVIDIA driver that was released then, and making sure the DLSS stuff is set. There's another setting I want to try, the M setting, I guess. I don't know. I'm just following along with whatever that guy says. But making sure the DLSS stuff worked in the simulator, which it does. The frame generation stuff. Making sure that I could, that it was rendering all the way through the pipeline at proper size. So if you look up here at the top, 3 numbers, screen, post, and render. What happened there? It's down. It's not rendering 3840. Well, let's try to fix that. It could be because going to DLSS. See, 3840 by 2160 here. But I think because DLSS is on, it's not now rendering at 3840. There it is. Without DLSS. 3840 by 2160. And here's the scaling. Alright, let's see what we get. Frame generation is on still, which is interesting. Let's see what we get. It's rendering, it's showing it in red, but we're doing 107 FPS. I want to turn DLSS back on. Use Maybe it's the sharpness thing. You see on some of the finer lines, still you get a little jagginess, like the towers, the antenna on the tower, a little bit of flickering. Do we need temporal? Yeah. That's better. Yeah, it's not shimmering. Oh. That's 3 times. You get so overconfident flying these things, and I kept forgetting to look down at my fuel there. There it is. Again, this is just a test. This is not the, hey, let me demonstrate how to do perfect urban air mobility and just do it all perfect. Right? This is a test. Started out as a graphic test and a settings test and making sure that this render thing was working right. So that through the whole pipeline, it's 3840 by 2160. Making sure OBS was working right. Testing the autopilot. Doing flight plans. That should be capping. But I guess with frame generation, no. Still wants to do it out at 112. Okay. Oh, I had it in the reverse position when I launched, so it's going backwards. Okay, so when you're this low and you just are fully concentrating on sightseeing, you can come in here. There's no quick way to do it. You have to come in here. But then you can come in, if we're only concerned with flying, turning down everything, including trees, plants, rocks, grass. it's just not worth it to have any of these set above low. So if we're concerned with the ground, we're not so concerned with the clouds. So you can save, turn these up, turn some of this down. I think we could do better with the anisotropic. You can also turn texture resolution up high, but you have to restart for that. I don't really have any water around. I don't have any current ray tracing on, but let's turn that on since we're just concerned with how the environment looks at the moment. Shadow maps. Same thing. We're just flying. I didn't care about the shadows. So it's probably going to drop us under 60. But again, if we're just going for, look, if I'm just trying to show you the environment and stuff like this, the terrain, we don't have to have the FPS really any higher than 24, basic cinema. 48 is supposed to be the edge of realism or realism. Back in the day, the FAA said if you were going to have a flight simulator and use it for real world practice, it had to do at least do 36 frames. So when we're this close to the ground and we're only doing sightseeing and flying up isn't important, then turning all these things on. Oops. That one alone. Turning on the ray tracing here. And all this stuff you really don't need. Turn some of these on. These end up a lot though. Airport services. Services variety. Parked aircraft quantity. Let's just do variety. In LA, in this area, there's got to be a lot of traffic. You really want that. And the road's up. How bad does that hit the FPS? 46. 47. So for Edison, that was the edge of realism at 48 frames. Or under that. But again, if it doesn't have to be real, 36 frames is still good enough for FAA, and 24 has been the standard for cinema. So there's 36 frames. That turn. The lowest we can go is 20. Let's put it at cinema. 24. OBS would have to be changed. Man, what a congested place. Los Angeles Police Department. Not the Autopilot. Christine and I just watched the latest Naked Gun. And I remember it was the FBI from LA. Yeah, I can't see how urban air mobility would be better here. Because we're doing 117 knots. And it doesn't feel like we're moving that fast at all. And trying to make it all the way with the car all the way downtown to the police department. Oh, we're running out of fuel again. That's telling us that we're within 1,000 feet of our designated altitude, desired altitude height. We're going down the autopilot off. CBS Studios. Nice. The Hollywood Walk. Ooh, it's nice. It's at Lowe's. We're getting businesses now. Cool, yeah. Be able to filter that out, or filter like, yeah, you know, for urban air mobility, you'd want things like, yeah, the Lowe's, the Home Depots, Walmarts. Malls, shopping centers, places you'd want to go and be able to shop. Playboy Mansion. Go back up in FPS. I forgot how to pause it on the thing. Wow. I didn't expect to see it being that specific. Mulholland Drive, right there, the Tate LaBianca. You know, you know. This is all connected to the Playboy Mansion estate. The Romulan bird of prey. Oh, that's it over there. But then it disappears when you get close. I can't tell which one it is. One of these. We always hear about like the grotto. Like a grotto to me. That's more grotto-esque. Where did we go? Oh, yeah. I'd moved away. So, if you saw that movie, what the heck was that movie? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? And in the movie, they live right next door. And these are the only ones that kind of look like where they'd be positioned from the movie. Because there's unless they were downhill from it. Let's see. Oops. And then there's a big valley right there. It would have had to be these. Would have had to have been these down here. Where's the driveway up to it? Remember they'd make that big turn off the road? Then go up into the hills. Hard to see the roads. Anyway, I wasn't expecting that to be looking at that this evening. So yeah, they were down. They had to go up to the gate and talk in. So these would have been the houses. I enjoy the ending of that movie much better than the reality. Definitely enjoyed that. So it makes total sense to me that Archer would want to be here and try their stuff out here and in Miami and a couple other congested places. KHHR. Need to commit that to memory.
Hawthorne Tower, Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 5514 is 2 miles northwest, 600 with Mike to land.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 5514, Hawthorne Tower. Altimeter tree 022. Fly straight in helipad 1.
Fly straight in helipad 1. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 5514.
Yeah, SpaceX is here too.
Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 5514. Did you hear my last transmission?
Hawthorne Airport information, Mike. 1000 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 20. Dew point -1. Altimeter tree 022. Visual runway 7 in use. Landing and departing runway 7. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have, Mike.
I'm trying to go sideways.
Lima Alpha Oscar 5514. Contact ground on 125.1.
125.1. Kin Lima Alpha Oscar 5514.
All right, well, I think this test was successful. I hope you found it successful too. And now are thinking to yourself, yeah, maybe I should invest too. It's as low as it's ever going to be, I believe, right at the moment. I don't think the stock for Joby or Archer will maybe go lower. You know how stocks are. But for the most part, not till 2029 are they expected to inject more stocks into the float. I'm learning to speak stock trader stuff. So yeah, it's probably the lowest it's ever going to be right now. And I don't want to create any FOMO or anything like that. I did it again. FOMO. Fear of missing out. It hasn't been moving very fast. Everybody said it's going to have a breakthrough this week, which would be good, because when it first opened up for sale on the market, as far as I knew, it was at like 13. So I bought at 13, and then it took a... And same with Joby. When I first saw it available, it was 17. And so I bought, and then I've just been waiting for it to get back up to 13 and 17. That's like my life story. So I still managed to get in late when I was supposed to get in early. Anyway, thank you to folks that talk about this a lot, like the Hustle Brothers and people on Twitter like Lewis Archer and Archer Daily and Archer Defense and eVTOL Daily and anything eVTOL and Archer Prime. And again, Joby as well, and they don't have the other aircraft in here yet. We don't have any hover or beta. And I can't wait to see somebody release a eVTOL jet. And that's going to be fantastic. I like the idea of the hybrids. You know, having a little fuel, because you saw how much fun I was having that I wasn't paying attention to my battery consumption. We don't have a bingo that says, hey, you better land right now. All right, I'll think of another test here, or I got to start getting back into my live streams and keep going with my career mode. We're in Russia somewhere. I need to start doing that again, and just possibly just release some other videos about this topic again. You know, purchasing Archer and Joby. Which eVTOL is for you? You know, if you're not going to invest in both, why not? What's the difference between Archer and Joby? I can show you all that, the differences between them. I've already said a couple that they don't have the assisted landing and they don't have the autopilot. But that could change any minute. And we still even haven't seen the good stuff. That's probably a couple of years away. Introducing the NVIDIA Thor AI into the Archer and Joby. I can even show you Jetson. And I think I have Volocopter still. Those are two other players in the air taxi market. Well, not necessarily the Jetson. Jetson's more of a off-road. The off-road version. It's a one-seater. Mostly for people in the country, I would think. They're going to love it. They are going to love it. I call it the Flying Ginsu. I wouldn't want to be around one. I'd like to fly one. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near it. Okay. Well, let's wrap it up here then. Cheers.